Hey guys, it's Ken Maxfield, the Hide Guy. I am owner and president of the Maxfield Report, and here is our market recap for the week ending May the 10th. The week started out as expected. Packers had offer lists that were visibly more populated than even the week before. All of the selections offered available to ship immediately. As far as load counts, numerous loads. You could put 12 to 18 and that wouldn't catch how many loads each of the different Packers were trying to sell. As far as asking prices, the Packers did lower the prices by maybe a buck or two on certain selections. The situation on that is direct sales have taken place even lower than asking prices. So the week started out with bids, not terrible as far as the volume of them. Most people still looking for limited quantities. Price ideas continue to be well below the asking or ideas of the Packers. Business got concluded, but not. It's not widely believed there's a large round of buying. In fact, the situation between the Chinese and the United States government also impacted business last week, especially when President Trump started tweeting that he was in no hurry to get this done. That encouraged a lot of people to withdraw their interest, and by the end of the week, the popular opinion was there really wasn't nearly as many hides sold as last week. Obviously, we'll talk about that later, but it was deemed below average week of trading in terms of volume. And as far as prices, I would say anywhere from $1 to $2 down. In the cowhide market, similar situation. Producers entered the week with a full complement of offers, numerous loads for sale, shipment for prompt. Like Big Packer hides, interest was decent to start the week. Ideas were well below asking prices. Difficult to find common ground between the buyers and the sellers. And like Big Packer hides, it's believed that there wasn't nearly enough hides sold, and likely we'll see, offer lists pretty populated. As far as the harvest last week in the States, another big number, 664,000. That comes on the heels of 670, which is the largest of the year. In fact, that 670, as we told you last week, was the largest dating back to 2011 in week 25. So these last 2 weeks are two of the largest weeks we've seen in over a decade. So a lot of hides coming at the people selling them, and really not great news for them because demand isn't measuring up to the supply of hides. Going over to Europe real quick, not much of a change there. Continue reports of sellers pushing for business. Some of the best hides in Europe that typically go direct to tanners are being either wet blued or wet salted, being offered around the world. The European prices on a per piece basis compared to asking price in the States, they are dollars higher. The Europeans recognize they're probably going to have to take a lot less money in order to stay competitive with the prices being traded in the States. The challenge is they just can't get the prices down far enough at the packing house. The abattoirs are trying to dig in. They're agreeing to some minor concessions, but by the time you get them bought, you process them, and you try to sell them, it is nothing but miserable for most people trying to sell hides in Europe. Again, lots of bulls for sale due to the automotive situation and how poor demand is there, as well as cowhides for sale, and lots of reports of numerous unsold loads of cowhides scattered all throughout Europe in warehouses. Down in Brazil, the pressure continues. Fresh hides are definitely below under one reais, probably 80 to 90 cents. The Packers are taking some of the undesirables out in order to get those prices. There is widespread speculation if you were willing to take a straight run without any of the undesirables being taken out, you could likely get the hides for almost nothing. That's how bad that situation is deteriorating down there, no different than anywhere else. Sales are wet blue, prices drifting lower. Of course, if you're willing to consider taking, 3s, 4s, 5s, you can probably easily buy it, underneath that 50-cent level. But again, not everybody can use that lower grade stuff, but trading at least down 3 to 5 cents on the TR1s, according to our sources. In Australia, a very similar situation. A lot of hides for sale, not enough demand, prices under pressure, likely going lower. Lots of complaints worldwide about market claims, late LC openings, people wanting to delay shipments, the whole kit and caboodle. The big news this past week, though, of course, was the USDA export report. Let's touch upon that quickly. We had a marketing year high for wet salted sales of 648,000. Marketing year high of shipments for wet salted, 634,000. On wet blue, another marketing year high at 215,000, while the exports of wet blue were 129,000. What's really interesting about this, guys, is biggest week of sales, biggest week of shipments for the entire year, but yet we still are taking lower money. Not questioning these sales had taken place. The question I have is how many of these were actually new business, because we believe a lot of this was new sales to cover the old outstanding sales that aren't shipping. Of course, the cancellations haven't shown up yet as far as we can see. But again, usually if you'd see a week like this, you'd have those people selling hides digging their heels in and saying, no, we're not taking any less money. So looking ahead to this week with the way the harvest has been going, we look for big numbers. We don't think everybody's that far sold. Keep selling into it. Know who you're selling to, because it remains under pressure. So that's it for this week. Ken Maxfield, the Hide Guy. Check out the website, www.themaxfieldreport.com. I do offer free 14-day trials. Until next week, we'll see you then. Thanks.